I'm sorry, you want to say something? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Will County Board Planning Zoning Commission regular meeting of May 19th. And call this meeting to order and ask everybody to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roger, would you meet us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank God that wasn't a competition. We weren't in sync. May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call, Hugh Stippen,
Here.
John Kiefner,
Here.
Kimberly Mitchell, Roger Bettenhausen,
Here.
Karen Warwick, Louis Navarette,
Here.
and Matthew Garland.
Here. We have a quorum. We have minutes of May 12th to approve. May I have a motion to approve minutes?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Anybody have any changes or alterations they want to make to the minutes? No, okay then. May I have a roll call, please?
Kimberly Mitchell, John Kiefner,
Yes.
Roger Bettenhausen, Matt Garland,
Yes.
Louis Navarette,
Yes.
Karen Warwick,
Yes.
and Chairman Hugh Stippen.
Yes.
Approved.
Our first case tonight is ZC-26-010 and V-26019. And Alec Van Patten will be our presenter. Yeah. Got it.
So I am reviewing zoning case ZC 26010. The owner of the property is Vitus Recbus. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow construction of an addition to existing pole barn. Why? Shouldn't be. Okay, there. Okay, there it goes. So the subject property is within Green Garden Township, located on the north side of Harvest Hills Road. The property is zoned A2 with 2.5 acres of area and 174 feet of lot frontage along Harvest Hills Road. The A2 zoning district requires a minimum lot area of 2.5 acres and 300 feet of lot frontage. It was originally platted as part of Lot 18 in the Harvest Hills Unit 2 subdivision, but was divided on June 1st, 1988. This was after the adoption of lot standards in 1978, making it an illegal non-conforming lot. This is a 2025 aerial of the property. The property is improved with a single-family home and pole barn. The residence was built in 1987 according to Green Garden Assessor records, which was before the lot was divided in 1988 and became an illegal non-conforming lot. The owner was put in violation for starting to build proposed addition to pole barn without obtaining a building permit. This 32 by 48 addition put them above the maximum accessory building area of 3,000 square feet for A2 district. They got administrative adjustment for maximum accessory building area that was approved January 23rd, 2026. And then this is a plat survey showing the proposed addition of the pole barn, which is outlined in red. And then look for the physical characteristics. So this is a view looking at the subject property showing the deficiency in lot frontage. This is the view of the pole barn that has the proposed addition. This is the view looking south at the adjacent property across Harvest Hill Road. This is a view east at the adjacent property. This is a view west at the adjacent property. And this is a view looking southwest across Harvest Hill Road at adjacent property. This is a view looking east down Harvest Hill Road, and the view looking west along Harvest Hill Road. So now to go over section 1, the variance standards and review criteria. Staff finds the owner's plight is due to unique circumstances. The applicant purchased the property in 2024 already as a non-conforming A2 parcel with a single-family residence and pole barn. Staff finds the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. Property nearby got an administrative adjustment approved for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 175 feet. The parcel is located in Harvest Hills Unit 2 subdivision, where most of the parcels are zoned A2 and deficient in lot frontage. Then looking at section 2, this is a summary. Full list of the review criteria analysis can be found in the staff report. Staff finds the owner's hardship is due to physical surrounding shape or topographical conditions of the property. The lot was created deficient in lot area on June 1st, 1988, after adoption of county lot standards in 1978. This makes it a legal non-conforming lot. Illegal non-conforming lots are not buildable lots, thus preventing the owner from building the proposed addition. The staff's professional opinion that the alleged difficulty or hardship was not created by the property owner. The parcel was created deficient in lot frontage on June 1st, 1988. According to the recorded deed, the applicant acquired the property on July 1st, 2024. So staff is recommending approval for the variance, and I can answer any questions they want. Oh, yeah.
I have no questions. Anyone have questions? Thank you very much, sir. Before we go any further, I'm going to swear everybody in who's going to testify tonight. So all who have signed in who are going to testify, please raise your right hand. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I do. Thank you. Now, are there any concerned citizens or objectors to this case? There are not, okay. Is the primary here or the owner? Yes, sir. We have no concerned citizens or objectors to this case, and we have a recommendation of approval from staff. Would you care to speak, or do you want us to just go ahead and vote? Okay.
Chairman, for case ZC-26-010, item B-26-019, I would make a motion for approval of a variance for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 174 feet. Second.
I have a motion, a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Kimberly Mitchell,
Yes.
John Kiefner,
Yes.
Roger Bettenhausen,
Yes.
Matt Garland,
Yes.
Louis Navarette, Karen Warwick,
Yes.
and Chairman Hugh Stippen.
Yes.
Approved.
Are those chairs over there comfortable? You can have a seat if you'd like. You don't have to stand. It's gonna take a little while.
Our next case tonight is ZC-26-013/V-26-113. And Jesus Presenter will be our presenter.
Okay, before I get started, I do want to ask if the property owner, Sharon Chills, or the agent for this case, Manny Monreal, is here for this zoning case? If they are not, it appears that they're not, staff would seek a vote of postponement to the next PZC meeting, which I believe is June 16th, as the applicant did not provide the certified mailings or place the sign on the property.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to postpone to, I don't even remember the date you said now,
June 16th.
6/16/26 for ZC 26-013.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second to postpone this to June 16th. Was it you said, sir?
Yes.
June 16th.
Yes. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Kimberly Mitchell,
Yes.
John Kiefner,
Yes.
Roger Bettenhausen,
Yes.
Matt Garland,
Yes.
Louis Navarette,
Yes.
Karen Warwick,
Yes.
and Chairman Hugh Stippen.
Yes.
And could I have that motion again? Who did what? John? And who was second? Thank you.
Our next case tonight is case number ZC-26-016/V-26-114. Alec Van Patten will be the presenter.
So I'm reviewing zoning case ZC 26016. The owner property, CKC Ventures LLC, with Karina Breitbarth and Greg Breitbarth each owning 50%, and CKC Ventures Employee Profit Sharing Plan, 401k, which has the same split in ownership between Karina and Greg Breitbarth. The applicant is requesting a variance to build a stoop and porch at the existing doorways of their property. Come on. Why is this not working? Okay, there it goes. All right, so this image shows the zoning map with subject property outlined in red. The subject property is within Lockport Township, located on the corner of Cameron Avenue and Green Garden Place. The property is zoned R4 with 13,250 square feet of area and 90.14 feet of lot frontage along Cameron Avenue and 147.01 feet of lot frontage on Green Garden Place. The R4 zoning district requires a minimum lot area of 12,500 square feet and 70 feet of lot frontage. This is a conforming R4 lot. So this is a 2025 aerial of the property. The property is improved with a single-family home and detached garage. The residence was built in 1947 according to Lockport Township Assessor records. Historical Will County zoning maps show that prior to 1978, it was zoned R1. This is a legal non-conforming structure. The owner plans to build a new 5-foot by 5-foot covered porch by the front door facing Cameron Avenue and a 5-foot by 5-foot stoop with stairs in front of the door facing Green Garden Place. And this is the Plavert survey showing the proposed covered porch that is encroaching the setback outlined in red. And then this for physical characteristics. So this is a view looking at the subject property from Cameron Avenue. This is the view looking at the subject property from Green Garden Place. This is view looking south at the adjacent property across Cameron Avenue. This view looking west at the adjacent property across Green Garden Place. This view looking east down Cameron Avenue. View looking west down Cameron Avenue. View looking north down Green Garden Place. View looking south down Green Garden Place. And now to go over section 1 and the various standards and review criteria. Staff finds that the play of the owner is due to unique circumstances. A single family home was built in 1947. This was before street setbacks were established. The residence was built encroaching into modern day street setbacks on both Green Garden Place and Cameron Avenue. The building of the covered porch into the street setback on Cameron Avenue is considered an expansion of a nonconformity, must be brought into compliance. The lot only has a frontage of 90.41 feet on Cameron Avenue, which makes it difficult to meet both street setbacks for the R4 zoning district. Staff finds that the variance, if granted, may not alter the essential character of the locality. Staff finds that there are 2 parcels that got a variance for street yard setback. There are 5 parcels with a covered porch encroaching into the street yard setback. This request is within the character of the locality. Then looking at section 2, staff finds the particular shape of the subject property does result in particular hardship upon the owner. Subject property is a corner lot, which means it has 2 street setbacks, one on Cameron Avenue and one on Green Garden Place. The street setback for R4 districts is 30 feet. The lot frontage is 90.41 feet, which makes it difficult to meet both street setbacks and the 30-foot rear setback. This prevents the owners from building even a small addition, such as a 5-foot by 5-foot covered porch. As a staff professional opinion, that the alleged difficulty or hardship was not created by the property owner. Sorry, my notes have duplication of stuff. It's throwing me off. So according, the residence was constructed encroaching into modern day setback, street setbacks in 1947. According to the recorded deed, the current owner obtained the property on December 27th, 2013. And then, so staff is recommending approval of the variance. I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Have we any questions?
No questions.
No questions. Thank you, sir. Are there any objectors or concerned citizens to this case? There are not. Okay. Is the owner or share plan member here? Yes. Did you care to speak? We have no objectors and staff has a recommendation of approval. Do you care to speak or do you want us to just vote? Okay, thank you. May I have a motion on case ZC-26-016 at all?
Mr. Chairman, motion for approval for case number ZZ 26-016 B-26-114, variance for street setback from 30 inches to 23.2 inches at Cameron Avenue.
I'll second with the correction to be feet, not inches.
Oh, sorry. Feet,
That the what?
To be feet, not inches. He
Okay.
stated inches.
Yeah.
my bad.
I have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call?
Kimberly Mitchell,
Yes.
John Kiefner,
Yes.
Roger Bettenhausen,
Yes.
Matt Garland,
Yes.
Louis Navarette,
Yes.
Karen Warwick,
Yes.
and Hugh Stippen.
Yes.
Approved.
I heard Mr. Van Patten called a stupid porch. I'm like, what? Stupid porch.
Our next case tonight is case number ZC-26-020 and M-25-024. It takes place in Homer Glen, and Alec Van Patten will be the presenter for this case also.
So I am presenting zoning case ZC 2602, 020, is located in Homer Township. The owner is First National Bank Trust number 72-27390 with Justice, I am gonna butcher this, I apologize. Lake Ponus with 100% interest. Agent is Logan Mellott of Badger Daylight Corporation. An attorney is Cass Wendland of Wendland Associates and Law Firm. The applicant is requesting a map amendment from C2/R2 to C4 to allow to build and operate offices and facility for non-destructive excavation company. So here's the lot outlined by a red line. The property is currently unimproved. This is the plat survey of the property. The subject property is currently split zone between C2 and R2 zoning districts. The C2 area is approximately the front 1,501 square feet. The rest of the property is zoned R2. The whole parcel is 38 acres in area with 657 feet of lot frontage along 159th Street. C4 lots are required to have 20,000 square feet of lot area and 80 feet of lot frontage. If the map amendment is approved, then it will be a conforming C4 lot. So looking at, this is the site plan that was submitted with the application. So the applicant is Badger Inc., a hydro excavation company, is looking to buy this parcel and use it for an office and storage for trucks. The proposal will consist of parking of approximately 35 to 40 trucks, most of which will be parked under a roof. The proposed use is classified as construction, sales, and services and is permitted in the C4 zoning district. Construction services is defined in our ordinance as construction development services and related storage, unless otherwise expressly stated. This use subcategory refers to activities on parcels other than active construction or development sites. Typical uses include building, contracting / construction businesses, including contractor storage yards, unless that involve office or administrative functions only, with no on-site equipment or vehicle storage are classified as offices. The company currently operates multiple locations throughout the United States and Canada. There's one current location in Will County in Shanahan. They are applying for map amendment from C2 to the R2 zoning district to the C4 zoning district to move the Shanahan location to the site. Through the hydro excavation, a mixture of soil and water is created that can be contaminated. Talking to applicant, any contaminated materials would be identified in advance and managed under a manifest generated for an approved disposal facility. The applicant has indicated the use will generate between 80 and 120 vehicle trips daily from office employees coming to work and service vehicles being dispatched off-site. The property will be open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. The applicant has indicated the intended use of the property will be open to the general public and expects less than one customer per day coming to the site. Now, looking at the physical characteristics, this is the view looking at the subject property from 159th Street. This is the view looking south from the subject property across 159th Street. This is the view looking east at the adjacent property. This is the view looking southwest from the subject property across 159th Street. This view looking southeast from the subject property across 159th Street. This is view facing south, looking west along 159th Street. And this is a view looking east along 159th Street. So this blue circle indicates around a half mile radius. Within a half-mile radius of the subject property uses include residential, commercial, industrial, vacant, recreational, and agriculture within the city of Lockport, village of Homer Glen, and unincorporated Will County. Staff found the predominant use in this area is residential. The commercial uses within unincorporated Will County are Amish Furniture, Lockport, Ida's Garden Paradise, Midwest Dental Sleep Center, BP Gas Station, Cube Smart Self-Storage, Elite Landscaping, and Beery Landscaping. The recreational use within unincorporated Will County is Lockport Moose Lodge, Picnic Grove. The industrial use within incorporated Will County is Midwest Super Storage, and Keetlard Brothers Construction. Within the city of Lockport, the nearest use is single-family residential. Within Homer Glen, the nearest use is Fideman Creek Forest Preserve, which is maintained by the Will County Forest Preserve District. Staff's professional opinion that the proposed use would be compatible with existing uses in the facility, which includes retail sales, self-storage, and construction services. Within a half-mile radius of the subject property, uses include residential, commercial, industrial, vacant. Wait, is that a repeat?
You said something very similar.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know why I have like repeats of certain paragraphs popping up in my notes that have been confusing me. So yeah, within unincorporated zoning districts found within a half-mile radius are A1, R4, R5, C1, C2, C3, C4, I1, and I2. Within the city of Lockport, the zoning district found is single-family residential. Sorry. And then within, sorry, I think my notes are a little messed up. Is that?
Can I ask Ms. Kitty a question? Will you work on that pertains to this map?
Mhm.
Since this map is going to go away, can you tell me what the pink, the yellow, and the light blue zonings are? Because there's nothing I can find in my packet that identifies what the colors are.
Yeah, so the light pink that actually has a little bit of hatch mark to the north is going to be the village of Homer Glen. The light blue, which is adjacent to the west, is going to be I-1. I guess the darker pink, which is to the east, is going to be C6. And then you have the yellow, which is R2 residential. To the south, I believe you also have some commercial. I believe it's C2, C3. So some of the shades along 159th are related to commercial districts.
And then the subdivision that's directly to the east, it's got yellow and, I don't know if you'd call that pink. Is that Will County zoning or is that?
So the pink with the subdivision to the east would be properties that have been annexed into Homer Glen.
Okay, so it's a mixed
Correct.
zoning in that subdivision. Okay.
Yeah, I got my notes clarified. Yeah, just some copy and paste errors. Yeah, so then in the village of Homer Glen zoning districts include single family and then agriculture residential. So then the property is currently unimproved and split zoned between C2 local commercial in the front of the parcel and R2 residential single family in the back. For split zone lots, they can be treated as separate zoning lots. The applicant proposes to use the property for construction business, which is not permitted within either C2 or R2 zoning districts. If the map amendment is denied, only permitted uses in the C2 zoning districts would be allowed in the C2 portion, and only R2 zoning districts would be permitted on the R2 portion of the property. Before the county's comprehensive rezoning in 1978, the parcel was zoned A1. Between 1978 and 1993, the front parcel was rezoned to R2, with no records stating exactly when this occurred. In 1993, the back portion of the property was rezoned to R2 to build a subdivision based on aerials, building permits records. A subdivision was never built. On March 19, 1994, the front 290 feet was rezoned from R2 to C2. Looking at historical zoning maps from 1993 to 1994, a development along 159th between Cedar and Gauger Road has been towards light industrial and commercial developments. When examining the 159th Street corridor 1 mile east and west of the subject parcel, single-family residential remains prevalent in the west. However, observed use going east from the property down 159 turns commercial, with most prevalent type of use observed being construction services and landscaping. A staff's professional opinion that this development follows the development trend in the surrounding area. The request is in conformance to the official adopted Will County Land Resource Management Plan. The subject property is identified within the Suburban Communities Development Form, where freestanding industry is a permitted use within the Suburban Communities Development Form. And then a LISA score was not calculated for the subject property. And then to agency comments, so after the staff report was published, published. Staff received comments from several agencies. First is Township of Homer, which raised concerns about industrial scale activities, water usage, and truck traffic. There's also the City of Lockport, which sent a letter stating concerns over not conforming to Village of Homer Glen's comprehensive plan, and C4 district not being compatible with the surrounding uses. We also received a letter from citizens stating concerns over water usage, noise, and truck traffic. We also have been notice of legal objection by the Village of Homer Glen, but are currently going through the verification process on that. So staff is recommending approval of the map amendment from C2 to R2, or C2/R2 to C4. And I can answer any questions.
Questions, anyone?
Well, I guess I'll ask this now where you're up there. So I'm looking at the zoning classifications from C2 to C4. The only real difference I can see is you go from 12,000 square foot minimum to 20,000 for the C4, so a bigger lot. And then as far as setbacks and all that is about the same, except maximum building coverage percentage goes from 40% to 50%. Am I missing something here, or is that about the major?
So for lot standards, that is the major differences. There also are differences in allowed uses.
Right, but it's not like one will allow more intensive usage where a C2 might say you can have a veterinarian clinic, a C4 might say you can have animal slaughtering and something much more. I'm not seeing that here.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
off the top, man, but I'm pretty sure, I don't think animal slaughtering is on the use table for C4.
I didn't go to that other chart yet. Okay, so, but the main difference is the size, and they can build them up.
And there are some differences in the uses, like construction services is not allowed use in C2. I think at C2 also automotive like repair is not allowed where C4 is. So there are some uses that could be considered more intensive that are allowed in C4 and not C2.
Yep, I just got to that chart, and it's quite more extensive. Okay, thank you.
I have a question. It states that there's going to be 35 to 40 trucks, most of which are parked under a roof. According to what their diagrams are, there's no, only looks like building there is a office building. Looks the rest of it is like parking lot.
So with that, probably would be better for the applicant, but from like what I've seen is in, because we had a pre-application meeting and they discussed and showed some conceptual site plans, but there's the office area that's like a small portion of the 25,000 square foot building, and the rest is kind of like a facility for it, which is largely has the parking of trucks. But they have a presentation, I think will go more in detail, and they can answer that a little more.
Thank you.
I think you've answered all the questions we have for you, sir. Thank you. Are there concerned citizens or objectors to this case? Yes, there are. Okay. May I hear from the primary, the agent and the attorney, or both, or one or the other? Good evening. Good evening.
Cass Wendland, 339 Alana Drive, attorney for the applicant Badger Daylight, is now known as Badger Infrastructure. I have with me Kevin North, the Delaware Business with Badger. I'm the general manager for the Upper Midwest for Badger.
Give your name again, sir.
Kevin North.
Thank you.
I also have with me in the audience tonight, Logan Malott, who's actually the chief operating officer for all of Badger, as well as Mike Belusi, who's the current branch manager at this location where it currently exists in Shanahan, which would be relocated here to this location. And one little correction here, pre-recorded, Alex.
Yeah, hang on a second, please, Cass. The gentleman back there says they can't hear.
I wish, I wish somebody. Oh, is that, it turns red when you get it out, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Is that the front 290 feet, and that number was correct, by 657 feet wide is currently C2, so about 4.4 acres of that parcel, the frontage of that parcel. And also of note is that within a agricultural district, actually, construction sales and services are a special use, although not a permitted use. In any event, Badger is North America's largest contractor as far as non-destructive excavation or hydro excavation. And these are actually highly specialized machines, and they operate these trucks, and the operators are highly trained, and they are able to operate and excavate around very sensitive facilities, high fiber optic cables, other sensitive facilities, pipelines, et cetera. These are, again, trained operators. They're going to be, this is about 50 plus jobs coming to this facility. 40 of those jobs right away are local 150 operators. These guys are $65 an hour on the check and another $60 in benefits, about $150,000 a year. This is a local 150 union company. In any event, this property is sandwiched between I-1 Industrial to the west, and then you heard C6 to the east, and then there's a trucking company further to the east there on 159th Street, Route 7, about 19,300 cars a day per Alex report. The company intends to operate with, in compliance with all of the ordinance. In fact, Alec, could you bring up in the presentation a view of the facility, and then we will take a look at the site plan. The revised site plan with the traffic routing. But if, there's the elevation. So if you can go back to the elevation for just for a second. Elevation. We were just there. There's a color elevation of the structure. There we go. There we go. So as explained by Alec, you can see the office uses in the front, and then you can see the indoor storage in the back. These are big vehicles, specialized vehicles costing almost $1 million a piece. They're stored inside. They're stored inside for the night. And in just a minute, I'll begin a direct examination of Kevin North with regard to the application. And if I may begin that now, I'd like to.
Please do.
Sure. Kevin, you're the representative primarily responsible for this proposed development by Badger, is that correct?
That is correct.
And Badger is currently under contract to purchase the subject property contingent upon request zoning approval?
That is correct.
Yeah. And this requested rezoning is necessary for this proposed office and dispatch operation, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Has Badger voluntarily provided all detailed operational information and site plans to the county?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Have you worked with engineers and consultants regarding the development of the property?
Of course, yes.
Now, Badger primarily provides hydro excavation services at off-site customer locations, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to me those operations and what they do? What the trucks do, how your operation operates from beginning to end on a daily basis at a Badger facility like this one?
So our operators will receive a dispatch the evening before. Based on their dispatch time, the required time at our contractor's location, they will move. We don't move in large waves. It's based on the time that we have to be on site. Our operators will arrive, and we use a combination of water and vacuum in order to suck up the material and uncover or daylight the utilities, whether that be fiber optics, a pipeline, utilities, gas. We work for municipalities, we work for general contractors, we work for pipeline construction, just about anyone nowadays that wants to safely excavate and access underground utilities.
The actual excavation work, that's not on this property, proposed on this property. That's all done off-site, correct?
Correct. That's done on the contractor's location or the construction site itself.
And Badger manufactures its own trucks, but not here, right?
Correct. We manufacture our own trucks in Red Deer, Canada.
Okay, so there's no manufacturing proposed to go on in this facility?
None whatsoever.
Okay. And there's no industrial processing or material production on this site?
No, none.
Any retail operations open to the public?
No, we typically have 1 or 2 customer meetings per quarter. We don't have customer meetings on our property.
Okay. How often would a customer come to your property?
Every 1 to 2 every 90 days.
So the primary function would just be administrative office and dispatch operations, correct?
Dispatch, sales, administration, operations support, and then the local 150 operators themselves that operate our trucks.
And so the trucks generally leave in the morning for off-site jobs and return at the end of the day, is that right?
That is correct.
And so they don't leave all in one wave, it says they're dispatched?
Yes,
And upon returning, those vehicles again are stored indoors and this 25,000 plus square feet facility is built for that, right?
yes,
And you can see those large overhead doors and those are on both sides, right?
that is correct. All of our trucks back in at the end of each day because from an emergency standpoint, the first direction we want to move is forward. So all of those trucks are backed in each of those bays and they're stacked.
And the indoor storage is incorporated, not just to protect that equipment, but to reduce visual and operational impacts on the surrounding properties. Is that
Yes,
right?
it is.
And Badger, in fact, chose this location because of its location directly on US Route 7, 159th Street in proximity to Route 355. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Alan, could you turn to the most recent site plan? I don't know if there's any way to blow that up so we can see. That's not the most recent, no. This is the one that was just transferred to you a couple days ago. There we go. You can just say that.
Back one.
Back one.
please.
Back one. Right, there it is. And so up on the screen is your most recent site plan. Is that correct, Mr. North?
That is correct.
Okay. And so can you tell me with this revised site plans, how your trucks would access this facility and how they would exit it as shown?
Our primary goal is to exit always to the right. You'll see that we have one exit, which is located to the east of the property, and then we have a 3/4 turn, which allows for traffic in and out, making a left-hand turn. So we have access in both directions.
So trucks coming from 355 and headed east will be able to turn left into the property at the already existing left turn lane that is seen that was constructed by IDOT, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to find and make this revision after concerns from the township and the village as far as truck access and on adjoining routes, Cedar Road, or doing any U-turns, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So once these trucks leave in the morning, traffic substantially slows down throughout the daytime?
Our traffic does, yeah.
Yes. Any other traffic in and out of the facility, period?
No, the only traffic would be employees, and that usually occurs prior to. Our trucks will remain on site. Our contractors pay for time on site. So if we need water, they're going to locate the nearest water source to the job site itself. The same thing with disposition of clean soil. They're going to locate the nearest clean facility to that contractor's site.
If there's any contaminated soil, is that ever brought back to this facility or your existing facility in Shanahan?
It is not. All contaminated material is identified in advance, requires a manifest, and that manifest will list us as the transporter, and it'll dictate the disposal facility that is designated to go to.
And have you incorporated landscaping, screening, setbacks, any berming to buffer this from existing residential uses?
Of course, we've created a noise and light mitigation plan. We have landscaping that you will see is significant. We've got water structure in the front and then landscaping all the way around, gating to the front to where any operations will not be visible from the road. We've got plans for a berm, a 6-foot berm created along the west side, and then foliage on top of that. So no light, noise, or there won't be any visibility to the neighbors to our west.
And the property would not function, like you stated, as any sort of excavation or processing site for material?
No, none whatsoever.
But trucks would be filled from time to time with water on site, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And those filling operations does it all happen at once? Is it done in a controlled manner? Are they filled all the way up? And sorry for the compound question, but if you could explain how that works.
No, so depending on the type of job that designated operator is going to, we have the capacity to fill up, but the operator's only going to use or fill up with as much water as they anticipate for the description of that job. Very rarely will you ever have a truck that's going to roll out with all bubbles or that containment vessel full.
And has Badger, have you evaluated utility availability and feasibility for this operation?
Yes, we have, and we have modified based on feedback from the community in it, and we'll draw water either from off-site or access to municipal water at some point in time.
Yeah. In fact, you have an initial application
Yes.
as Illinois American right now.
That is correct.
Okay. And there's no request for any variance from complying with any sort of environmental or utility requirements?
No, no,
No request for any variance from any stormwater or IEPA requirements, correct?
correct.
Okay. And that stormwater detention and drainage would be designed in complete accordance with the Will County Stormwater Detention Ordinance?
Yes,
And is Badger willing to comply with additional reasonable utility and stormwater requirements if those are required by the county?
yes, we are.
As far as maintenance activity on the trucks, okay, is that ever done outside or is that only done inside?
Our maintenance activity is very limited. We subcontract a lot of our maintenance right now off-site. Any maintenance that we would do would be under roof, behind closed doors.
And the outdoor parking area that you see there is simply a function of building a 25,000 square foot building and what's required by the county. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is Badger willing to comply with any reasonable conditions imposed by the county as far as controlling traffic in and out, staging, et cetera,
Yes,
as well as operational conditions?
yes.
And what has Badger done to proactively address concerns raised regarding, other than the traffic that you've discussed and other than the water issue, as far as the potable water issues that you've discussed? What has Badger done as far as offers of adjusted or increased its screening, particularly on the northeast corner of the property?
So increased screening will be provided by the fencing, as well as a water area that's visually appealing, and then the building setback.
Okay, as well as you have a berm for that northeast corner along that property line.
Yes, yes, as mentioned earlier.
And what's Badger's approximate proposed investment in this facility?
We have approval from our board of directors to spend up to $6 million.
Do you believe that this use can operate compatibly with the surrounding adjoining uses?
Yes, Badger has every intention of being the best of neighbors. We wouldn't have proposed or pursued this opportunity there. So yes, you're definitely compatible.
Tell me about what the lighting around the building, because I understand and looking from concerns from local municipalities as well as the township, as well as residents of concerns of having a big lit up parking lot in the evening. Now, number one, are there evening operations at this location?
No, and let me make a correction from what was stated earlier. Our operations are Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. We do not operate on Saturdays. We may have 1 or 2 trucks that will roll out to support, but our operations are primarily limited to Monday through Friday. The customers that we work for don't want to pay overtime, so we minimize that. The perimeter lighting around the facility and is all going to be motion sensor. All of our trucks are parked under roof, with the exception of some smaller support vehicles, F-150s, F-250s, and so forth. Those are all secured. So the lighting will only be on if there is motion.
And that lighting is throughout the parking lot or just around the building?
It's going to be limited to the building.
Okay, and again, only motion sensor.
Correct.
So it's not going to be lit up all night.
No.
Thank you. If there are any questions of Mr. North, certainly, yes.
I thought I read somewhere in the packet that on occasion you will encounter a facility being closed where you're taking
Yes, ma'am.
something contaminated and will be brought back to the site.
So let me clarify. We take nothing back to this facility or the facility that we're located at today. Any contamination goes directly to the manifested landfill. We will potentially encounter where we end up on a job site longer than anticipated. If we have clean debris, and that's just clean dirt, we will bring that back. And we can, our proposal is to put on the ground and be able to reclaim that back as we use that in our daily process, as we work for engineering companies to provide backfill services for them after we've hydrovaced an area.
But that's only clean material. It's
Only
not
clean
like that.
material. There is no manifest, there is no contaminated loads. It would be converse to IEPA's rules and regulations.
Facility that's closed, what do you do with anything contaminated?
So we have several facilities that we can utilize for those contaminated loads. And our operators will structure the end of their day knowing that they're rolling out with the manifest. And so they have to be at those gates by certain times.
Thank you.
Welcome.
How long have you been located on Northern Illinois Drive in Shannon?
15 years.
Long time.
And if you flip through, you can see the facility that we're in today. It's a business park. Right there. Excuse me. Thanks, Al. That's the facility that we're in today. You can see we don't have trucks outside. We do have several pickup trucks that are exposed. If you'll flip through the next slide or two, you can see we back trucks in, and that's how they're parked. So that first movement is out. All of those garages are heated. There's no need for us to idle trucks extended period of times, typically like you may have with a 18-wheeler over-the-road type truck, because everything is warm. Our operators are able to come in, do the necessary pre-trip, start their engines, and leave.
And then you mentioned a water structure in front. Is that have to do with stormwater management or?
Yes, but it will be decorative.
And then you mentioned filling up with water. What's the maximum capacity for the water on them trucks?
So we're running 3,500 gallons.
1,680 gallons.
To-
Truck, full capacity, typically between 70 and 80%. A lot of riding as well.
Is that good enough, that answer from there? Everybody heard it?
Thank you,
I'm
Logan.
just,
Yeah, we prefer to have people speak from the podium where the microphones are.
Understood, and Mr. Malat was.
I'm assuming everybody heard that, but
Please give your name for the record, sir.
Logan Malat, resident of New Lenox, Illinois. Our trucks hold at full capacity 1,680 gallon of water. Very rarely do we ever leave with a full tank of water. Typically, we're leaving around 70% water, depending on the job. And then we also do a lot of dry digging as well. It's becoming more popular. That way the customer can reuse the soil right there on site. In the dry digging case, we'll probably leave with around 200 gallon of water just to clean up any area on the job site.
Okay, thank you.
then it was mentioned that negotiations underway to hook up to the municipal water supply. Would that include sewer and water or just water?
Sewer is not available at this point in time. Sewer is not available. So upon its availability, yes, we will hook up. For the typical restroom waste, we will be creating a septic tank.
And as far as your initial water use, yes, they have made an initial application with Illinois American for the water. It's the only water that's available other than the well.
But you have no way to accept or access a sewer system, municipal sewer system. You'd have to put in a private system.
Correct.
That was a big chunk of your 6 million. I don't work for the health department, but I can only imagine what they're gonna say. So are you referring then that you don't need that many parking spaces that are in the conceptual plan? They're required per the county?
We do not.
They do it by area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so. There's no workaround on that, I assume.
Can I ask why you guys are leaving Shannon and moving to Homer Glen?
We have been leasing that facility. Badger is committed to the greater Chicago area. It's a number 2 marketplace for Badger. And so we're making the investment to stay here permanently.
So you couldn't permanently stay in the location you're at? They not willing to sell?
We're co-located with other businesses, and we want that ability
Speaking
to
from where?
have more property.
As well,
These people,
sorry.
who they're referring to.
As well, Mr. North, this is also located on the east side of what is the daily traffic jam on Route 80 for your easier access to your market within the Chicago metropolitan area. Is that correct?
That is correct. The facility in Homer Glen will allow us to minimize our mobilization time. We build our contractors from point to point, so we're able to save approximately 35 minutes one way in order to get to many of our destinations.
So that would depend on your location you're going to, because Cheyenne's not that far from. I just wonder the difference, and I know the timing, but are there other, like, you're close to I-80 and 355 and,
So we have a
It's,
facility in Melrose Park, and so we will share the service area. The area with I-80 has been a nightmare from a traffic standpoint, as it has been for probably everybody in this room. So we're trying to avoid that, get closer to our customers. Badger has a business model of creating multiple branches. We don't create a hub similar to a transportation company where you will, stage trailers and so forth. So our business model is smaller, and we will create branches throughout an area.
so this branch would be, you'd be taking 159th Route 7 to which main highway?
So
Would
we,
have been 57 through 55.
Directly to and from 355. And as Mr. North testified to, they modified their entrance plans to take advantage of the existing left turn lanes that IDOT built upon their reconstruction of Route 759. So they could come directly from 355, directly left to the property, leave directly right out and back to 355 on that Route 7 that was just rebuilt by IDOT, and it's handling just shy of 20,000 vehicles a day.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
I just had one. Staff mentioned in their report, they've already talked about this, but temporarily storing contaminated material on site. He said, is that just a miscommunication problem or?
that is miscommunication. We do not store any contaminated material on site. None.
And when you do run into contaminated material, what type of material are we talking about as far as contamination?
Go ahead.
So Badger, we do not run placards on our trucks, so we're not licensed to haul any sort of hazardous materials at all. When we mention contaminated materials, a lot of times we'll dig around telephone poles. They have creosote around them, which is non-hazardous, but it does have a sheen to it, so it can't be disposed of. So that material is manifested. But again, there's telephone poles up and down every street in every city, and that creosote, of course, does run down the post. And when we vac that up, it leaves a little bit of a sheen in the water, and that has to go to a manifested facility where they're able to process it and separate any sort of petroleum out of it.
So that's one example. Do you have any others that you might?
That's the majority. Again, we're digging in the right of way most of the time, locating utilities. So that's the typical hazard, we run into from a material standpoint is similar if we're digging right along the side of the roadway. Sometimes you'll get excess oil from asphalt or chipping and paving operations that again adds a slight sheen to the water. It's non-hazardous. We're walking on pavement every day, but it has to be taken to a facility and be processed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions here? Would you gentlemen please take a seat there then so we can hear from the concerned citizens? Mr. Wendland, you still got something, huh?
Yeah, I do. Just prior to do something, if I could submit for the records of support the proposal from Mr. Bays, who owns the first residential parcel, who lives there just to the east. I have that letter, multiple copies, and I have a letter with no objection from the property owner just immediately to the west, Mr. Katovich, at the I-1 industrial zone property that borders the west. And as well as there was talk about interest of the Forest Preserve and some doubts in that. Here's the letter from Corey Crawford of the Forest Preserve. It says, as soon as we get title of the property, they're happy to start negotiations because they want that property next to Bennett.
Is this mine?
In the end, I will save my comments for rebuttal after the objection.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Cornelius own a China shop here.
We can
Take one and pass it on.
Okay.
Corey Cobb.
Come on. Take one and pass it. May we hear from some of the concerned citizens right now then, please? If you'll come up. Line up, you can. Or as each speaker finishes, you may stand. Please give your name for the record before you start.
Okay, I'm Sue Stylen. I'm also the supervisor for Homer Township.
Yes.
And we did send a letter or a resolution of opposition yesterday. But I do have some additional comments to make. And I do want to thank the Badger people. They have been professional and we have been in full transparency, try to communicate our concerns. And I do think that they are trying to address them. But this development does not follow the development of the area, as the staff member was trying to say, because in the staff report, it says that the zoning was A1 up until 1978, and sometime between 1978 and 1993, it was zoned rural residential. And I have maps in my office. I have a color-coded comprehensive land use map revised on November 1st, 1979, that shows the entire parcel as residential. And I want you to take into consideration the entire parcel, because it's less than 25% of that is zoned C2. The rest of it is R2. So that is, to go from R2 to C4 is a big change. I also have a draft zoning map that was created in 1975 and revised in 1988, again, showing that it was the whole entire parcel was residential. And then in 1990, the land use map was adopted by the Will County Board, and it shows the complete parcel as suburban residential. And then there's some other drafts in between. And then in 1992, there was an unofficial zoning map that showed the proposal of changing that small portion of 290 feet deep to a C2. And I'd also like you to bear in mind, you saw photos of the street view, the front view of that long parcel. You didn't see the back view, what would be adjacent to residents of a neighboring subdivision. Zoning is meant to keep, it's meant for people to plan. It's when you're purchasing property, you look at zoning. And the first house was built in that subdivision in 1985. So that everything points to the residents in that subdivision thinking that they were going to be surrounded by residential parcels in that area. And even when you look at the zoning along 159th Street, there is only the one I-1 that they're talking about for the storage unit. That became I-1 in 2022 against the wishes of Homer Township and Homer Glen for the very purpose of that would be used against the planning of the village and the township. So now here it is, it's being used against us to change zoning to C4. And the other property that is the construction property that is zoned I-1, which is the Cutler property, that is just, and I'm going to say it right now because it needs to be addressed, it is an embarrassment for our community. It is not, I don't know if there's any construction business.
Folks,
I don't know if there's any construction.
excuse me 1 minute. No comments, negative or positive, please. Just listen so the rest of us can hear. Thank you.
I don't know if there is any actual construction business taking place on that property. What is happening on that property is just storage of trucks and junk. And if you drive by it, you'll see it, and we get calls about it regularly. So it is something that the county does need to be addressed, and so I'm saying that here. But that is like the main concern is, all right, so you zone something C4, what is to protect it from the future, in the future? That is a large parcel that now Badger has been in Shanahan for 15 years. 15 years from now, they could decide to move from Homer Township. And then that parcel, that entire parcel is going to be zoned C4. What is to protect the residents then in 15 years from now? And that's the purpose of zoning, is to protect and inform buyers to make wise decisions. And that is our main concern. Also to address the concerns in our opposition is the truck routing. I didn't see the route plan that they were going to use, but there is concern because as far as we know, there is no curb cut on 159th Street to allow a left turn. So the owner, Mr. North, said that they would be making right turns only. You can't do a U-turn in the intersection because the trucks are 30 feet long and they have to be under 22 feet to do a U-turn. So what is the routing going to be? We want to know the effects of the traffic on the area because it is going to be over 30 trucks a day. I think that's what they said that they have right now is 30 trucks. So I believe that their business would like to expand. What is it going to expand to? And what is going to be the effect of the traffic then? And the other thing with the C2, the C4 zoning is 159th Street is the planned commercial corridor for the village of Homer Glen and, well, Homer Township. Those areas will, I believe, will eventually be Homer Glen someday. So that business is not going to be generating sales tax revenue. It's just going to be generating property tax. And those homes that are in that subdivision, they generate over $800,000 a year in property tax for the 65 homes that are in there. Their average person pays $12,000 a year. I looked at the C2 and the C and the I parcels that are along 159th. None of them pay over $12,000 in property tax. So maybe with the building being expensive, the property tax is going to be higher. But what is the real benefit to the community of having that business? I'm glad that they're in Will County. I think that they appear to be a nice company. But is this really the parcel that is for that location? Is that really for that business? And I have to say, I don't think it is. And in addition, I think you'll hear from some residents, but those are our major concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Todd Overmeyer, and I'm the administrator of the Lockport Moose Lodge 1557. We own the property immediately east of the parcel in question, known as the Lockport Moose Lodge Picnic Grove. The Moose Lodge utilizes the picnic grove for numerous moose functions throughout the year, and the property is also rented extensively during the spring, summer, and early fall seasons for weddings, birthday celebrations, graduation parties, family reunions, company picnics, and many other community events. We are deeply concerned that the proposed change in land usage and any associated development could severely impact our ability to continue hosting and renting our picnic grove. Increased noise, dust, traffic, potential pollution would negatively affect the atmosphere and enjoyment of our guests expect when reserving the property for these important events. The revenue generated from these rentals is vital to the ongoing operation of our lodge. These funds help us maintain our facilities, meet our financial obligations, and continue fulfilling our mission of supporting the children at Mooseheart, the seniors at Moose Haven, and the communities we proudly serve. In light of these concerns, we respectfully request clarification on the following manners. I wrote this morning. Badger has done a great job answering a lot of the questions. I'm just going to read this as is, kind of, so as thinking points. Does the Will County Comprehensive Plan state, what does the Will County Comprehensive Plan state regarding changes the current land uses designated from C2, R2 to C4? Does this proposed change align with the comprehensive plans and long-term development goals currently established by Will County, Village of Homer Glen, and Homer Township? What materials, substances, or chemicals would be stored, processed, or dumped on site? What safeguards and containment measures would be implemented to ensure that no materials leave the property or contaminate nearby groundwater and private wells in the surrounding area? We appreciate your consideration of these concerns and respectfully request that the impact on neighboring properties, local residents, and community organizations be carefully evaluated before any decisions are made. Also, Badger gave a great presentation. They talked about barriers on the west side of the property. We would like to see it on the east side of the property that matches up to our property just adjacent to the east, similar to what they would be proposing to the west property. Thank you. Yes.
Question about your events.
Yes.
Are the majority of them weekend or are they also Monday through Friday?
You can rent the picnic grove at any time. A majority of them are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Maybe a Friday night wedding or something like that?
Could be, yes.
Okay.
Yes. But again, we reserve that right to use it ourselves for our events at any time.
Right.
A lot of times we work around the rental calendar.
It's nice to know that they're closed weekends and closed Friday, they're closed on Friday by 4 o'clock though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How would you feel if that were a housing development right there next to you instead of this warehouse that's going in there?
We would like to see it remain residential. We would not like to see a proposed change in that development.
So housing development would be okay with you?
Yeah. We to the back of our Picnic Grove is the residential from the subdivision back there. And they've been great neighbors, and I hope we've been great neighbors to them too. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll have to ask, there's commercial zoning there now, but I don't think it's the whole width of the lot. But I don't know if it's to the west or the east.
It's the front.
It's the front, but does it go all, what, does it go the full width, or we'll have to ask?
Hi.
Good evening. Please give your name for the record.
Yep, my name is Christopher Gruba. I'm Planning and Zoning Director for the Village of Homer Glen. I've been the director about a year and a half now. Haven't had the pleasure to meet with all you before. But forgive me if, I stray off course a little bit. But as Mr. Van Patten noted, the village does have several concerns about this development, most notably the usage of water from the well, from the aquifer. Also, dust, noise, traffic, lighting. Homer Glen is a dark sky community, takes that very seriously. And on last Friday, the board passed a resolution formally objecting this proposal. It's in the mail right now, so it's being delivered via certified mail. So I did want to state that. I did have, I guess, and Chair, please correct me, but I did have some questions. I don't know if they can be answered in real time or if this is simply just a listening session.
Some questions can be answered in real time if you direct them through the board. I know that's a little more awkward, but we're not a courtroom.
Sure. Yep.
And I don't have the position of a judge where I can say, okay, I've heard enough.
Right.
So
No,
if I
yeah.
start,
No, yeah, and I respect that and I understand that.
Okay.
I suppose that one of the questions that I had was that I think Mr. Van Patten, there's some discussion about the C4 zoning and the C2 zoning. Typically, when you go up higher in numbers, that becomes more intense. C4 is more intense than C1. That's typically how it goes in planning. I'm curious if it sounded like the C4 was slightly more intense than C2 was what I took away from that. So I don't know if Chair, if we're able to get that confirmation from Mr. Van Patten at this time or not. If not, I can just keep going.
Mr. Van Patten,
I'm sorry, I'm fine actually. Yeah, so it is this working? Okay, it didn't sound that loud. Yeah, so it is typically like a bit more intensive. Like I know construction services as to why they need the map amendment. That is one use that's not allowed in C2, that's in C4 that can be considered more intensive. And I also believe like auto repair shop is like other one that's like more intensive. They have a lot of similarities, but yeah, there is a bit of an increase in intensive use from C2 to C4.
Thank you. That was my assumption. So the Village of Homer Glen is concerned, obviously, about this increase in intensity, not just with the proposed use, but with the proposed zoning as well, and that is noted in the resolution that will be coming to the county. Also, following up what Supervisor Silen was saying regarding the left turn lane on 159th Street, I think, and Chair, are we able to take a look at the aerial quickly? And I'll be brief. I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
No, that aerial will be very telling because I think the left turn lane is so tight up against the property line, there isn't room for screening. So that aerial would be at least what I see on my phone.
Right. So when I was looking at it on my phone, it looks like that there's on the far east side of where this property is, just south of there, it looks like there is a U-turn, but it's not a left turn. I think it says in the pavement U-turn only.
Well, there's no left turn because there's no curb cut yet and there's no entrance there. Once they put an entrance, it would allow, but yes, an aerial shows that it's very tight to make it just before the property line. So in my opinion, what I'm seeing on my phone, if they do screening, they probably won't be able to do it the first 50 feet or 100 feet of the road.
Mhm.
That would have to be the entrance, but we'll get back with the applicant on that too.
Right. So I guess following up on that is that the village would
Can't
like.
blow that up like I can on my phone.
Yeah, no, I think that I understand you. I'm not sure if everybody else follows. Maybe they do. But I guess we would like to check with IDOT to make sure that, you know, that kind of traffic movement would be permitted at that location. We have not received an application. Obviously, it's before the county. So we've not done an in-depth zoning analysis, but that's one thing that we were trying to get clarification on. And the other thing was that I was under the impression that I thought that there was sanitary sewer available on 159th Street. I thought it was on the south side of 159th Street, so they might have to bore underneath the road. But I thought that it was available. I'm not sure about water, but I thought they were both available to hook up to at this time. So I'm not sure if whoever would be able to answer that question. But I'm just going to wrap it up there, and I'm available for any questions if anybody has anything to ask.
I think the person who's coming right after you can answer that question, so we'll see.
Okay.
Would just ask if we were to attach two conditions, I don't know what the applicant would think about this, that one would be that there could be no well on the property, you would be agreeable to that. That's what you're looking for, right? You would like no well.
Well, so I guess if there's three things that three scenarios that I see here. One is it's approved under the county. Two is it's approved under the village and annexed, or three, not approved at all. If it's a choice between developing it in the county or developing it in the village, I think that the village would prefer the latter in order to put conditions of approval on that, such as, yes, it would have to tie into the water and sewer on the site. There would have to be part of the village's lighting regulations, landscaping, berming, hours of operation, everything to protect the residents. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Assuming they don't pursue annexation and continue down the county, would you like a condition that says no well could be dug on the property?
Well,
That's where I'm looking. Now would be the time to add it.
yeah. So as the planning director, I'm not elected, so it's a little bit tricky for me to say. However, I think that would be helpful to not drain the aquifer, but I know that the residents have other concerns as well, other
And
than
then
that.
my other thought for condition was that they must hook up to a municipal sewer supply.
Right.
I mean, punching a well is one issue, but if they don't have municipal sewer supply, I'm assuming there's going to be a number of restrooms and other things that happen on this property. The private sewer system that would be required there just seems like it would be extensive.
I agree. But that's all that I have. Thank you for your time. If any questions,
Right.
thank you.
There's one thing I'd just like to clear. For a map amendment, we cannot add conditions. For special use, that's the case, but this is a map amendment, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. That was one of the first things I was actually going to say, but if I could approach the bench just for a second, just to show you a map from the village of Homer Glen. That will show you where the R2 district is located and the C2 district. You'll see the big green parcel is the residential, and then the C2 is the little purplish area. So you actually have a visual of what we're doing. Yes.
Did you?
I did not. I'm sorry. My name is Christina Knightsky-Troike. I'm actually the mayor of Homer Glen.
Yeah,
I came tonight just to make sure, because I saw in your packet that it showed that our resolution was not filed at the time that this meeting was prepared. So I just wanted to make sure you had it. There were some questions. Well, first I'd like to preface this with, this is a little awkward situation for me, but I'm friends with Mr. Wenlin, who's the attorney for Badger. Badger has been nothing but great to work with. I'm friends with Kettler. I've actually been a Moose member. But most importantly, the residents have to come first. And these residents have a lot of concerns, which the village understands and will represent them for this. One of the questions that was brought forward was, what's the difference between the C4 and the C2 and the R2, which you could see in the map, the major difference of the location of those. But in our objection, it actually explains what the village's vision of the C2 and the C4 difference is. And that's actually the second, whereas if you guys have the packet with you, which I'm sure if you do, but the C2 is called for a business park area, which in our definition of business park area does not include this type of development. So with that being said, there was just a couple other things. I know one of the questions were about the well and the water. This business would approximately, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, would use about 30 to 40,000 gallons of water per day, which would absolutely drain their aquifer in the subdivision adjacent to this property. For them to tap onto Illinois American Water, which is not ran by the municipal government of Homer Glen, they own the infrastructure. It's all completely them. The Village of Homer Glen actually has nothing to do with it, but we do fight for the residents because we have outrageous bills. However, they would have to annex into the Village of Homer Glen to tap onto the water system. Our sewer system will not be ready until the year 2030. So our water does go to Gauger Road, which is where the Lenny's Gas and Wash is. But unfortunately, our own sewer treatment will not be completed until the year of 2030. So asking them later on to hold off on a septic field, they would have to wait until 2030 to tap on for us. Now, as you know, Illinois American Water is in Homer Glen is the most expensive water bills in the country. So paying for 30 to 40,000 gallons of water per day is going to be pretty pricey for them. So that's just another little side note. Mr. Gruba, he did touch base about that is a hard visual to see where the cutout is. And we had discussed this briefly about the cutout. Their trucks run about 36 feet. The only turnaround point that you can have that IDOT allows is a truck for the limit of 22 feet. So if your truck is larger than 22 feet, you cannot make a U-turn in that area, because I drive past it every day, and if you had a clear map, you'll see that the cutout does not line up with their property. They would literally have to make a U-turn and then go into their property, which would then cause traffic issues. And then if you're talking about the other end of the property, it would actually come before their property would be cut out. IDOT has never come back and allowed another cutout. So if you can't just break up the medium to have a cutout for them to enter their property. And there is no dedicated left-hand turn lane as well. So if they were to turn in or if they were to have access, then they would take up one of the lanes. So just for clarity, because I know there were some questions on any of that. I know this isn't an answer and questioning for us, but if there are questions, I'm happy to answer. One of the other issues that we have is, Homer Glen comes before you for anything that has to do with truck or environment. As we all know, we're probably the biggest mouths you guys have ever had to deal with. I will say our issue with the Village of Homer Glen was not only the aquifer for the residents next door, but also the truck routes. There's no dedicated truck routes. Our roads have a 7-ton limit, which their trucks, I think, are pushing maybe roughly around 30 tons. There is no access road for them to take whatsoever unless they go all the way straight down 159th, go to Orland, and come all the way back through 355. Gauger, 151st, Cedar, Parker, those are all 7-ton limits. So there is nowhere to turn around, and there's no designated truck route. So if they do take any of those roads, they'd be getting some pretty hefty tickets. They did state that they only operate Monday through Friday, but if you look in their application, it actually says they operate Monday through Saturday. And their township board meeting that they went to, they also said that there are times that they would come after 4 o'clock. Sometimes it would be about 6 o'clock, which a truck here and there isn't too big of a deal. But once you start allowing 1, 2, 3, 4 to come later, it just kind of starts to have a trend. We have another trucking company way down the road that tends to do the same U-turn issue, and we have major traffic issues and major accidents that happen due to that, and we are arguing with them right now. I'm sorry, I'm talking a mile a minute because I thought I only had 30 seconds or 3 minutes. I guess that's all I really had for right now. Oh, and lastly, what Supervisor Silent had stated, she's 100% right. This C4, changing this to C4 will change in the future. I mean, it could change the dynamics in the future. People built their homes thinking this whole area, which you see on that map, would be residential. If they were to sell in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they can do anything that they want there because our ordinance would allow for anything to be there in the C4 district. Any questions for me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not as concerned about the C2 to the C4 because it's already there, but I am concerned, and nobody has addressed this. They're asking for it in the entire 38 acres.
Right.
And so I plan on asking the applicant about, best I can tell, their plot plan now is 6 to 8 acres. I would feel much more comfortable if I was a yes vote on this than it was not the whole 38 acres. Because it's hard to ignore that the C2 is already there. I mean,
The C2, not
I mean,
C4.
yes, the C2.
The
is already
C2.
there.
And the difference,
And-
oh, sorry.
I know we had the speaker earlier talk about some maps from other dates, or other years, which I can't really probably get into, but that 38 acres, I mean, you truly haven't addressed that. And I know we can't technically profess the tree hugging there, but the part closer to the road is definitely a lot less environmentally sensitive is what I see in the back, 20 to 30 acres of the property,
Absolutely. But
especially with the forest reserve adjoining it in the back.
sure, and I actually do love that forest preserve idea. However, that's still not enough buffer for the residents that are currently there. And I do understand that because you're saying that the C2 is different or is already there, but the C2 and C4 in the village, which is also with part of that packet that I just gave you, it explains what the difference is, the different business where the village is.
And if I did, this chart for the county and the
Yeah.
paper form that I have is very hard to understand. But I did think I picked up that an indoor shooting range is not allowed in a C2, and it is in a C3 and a C4. Just throwing it out there, not saying that they're asking for anything like this, but it does show you that you got to really look at the whole chart, and you could double check that on me. But I mean, an indoor shooting range would be a little more concerning, I think, with the C4. And so if you had this whole 38 acres C4, that doesn't prevent somebody 10, 20, 30 years down the road.
Correct.
Putting that shooting range in the middle or the back, right up against the forest reserve. Granted, it is
Right.
indoor shooting range.
Right.
It just shows you that the nuances of the zoning code.
I'd rather have a shooting range than a McDonald's or other fast food with a drive-in.
I'd rather have it indoors than outdoors.
And then just one other point that I was just thinking of, I know that they stated that their trucks don't park outside. And again, they have been nothing but amazing to work with, and everyone that, you know, is supportive of them are really genuine people. So it's nothing against the business itself. It's just that the businesses, when we look at the aerial view, you do see trucks that are stored outside. I don't know if that's just because they're outgrowing where they are currently, but they do have trucks stored outside. And the village survives off sales tax. We won't be generating any sales tax off of this. So the whole corridor business district that we created is to help the village of Homer Glen survive. So that's one of the major issues as well. So, all right.
Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Ew, I am not an attorney.
I can't hear you, Cash. Would you please turn that up?
I do have some cross-examination for this witness that I'm entitled to under laws.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
That's in accordance
guys.
with Judge Breslin's recent ruling, so. Lenny's gas and wash there
Mhm.
at 159th and Gallagher, the northeast corner, right?
Yes,
Is that in the village of Homer Glen?
yes, it is.
Okay. And how are they served as far as their sewer?
They are currently under the contract of what we have with Lockport. They treat their sewer, but unfortunately Lockport can no longer handle any more waste. So that's why we have to do our own infrastructure.
And you understand that under C2, such uses as restaurants, any kind of retail sales and service, daycare, banks, those are all permitted uses, right?
Yep,
Okay. And gas stations and bars and taverns by special use, right?
correct.
And so retail sales and service, including drugstores, like a 24-hour Walgreens, right?
Yes,
Okay. And you understand that those types of uses, like a 24-hour Walgreens, would have continuous public traffic, right?
yes.
All day ingress and egress, right?
Mhm. I don't believe we have any 24 access in the village of Homer Glen.
I'm just talking about
Okay.
what's allowed within the county and the C2 district.
Oh,
You
county,
understand
yes.
that, you
yes,
understand that, right?
Yes, countywide, yep.
And far more vehicle trips than a proposal such as this, right?
Vehicles, yes.
Yes. Okay. Are there about 65 lots, I believe, Ms. Stylen said in Cedar Glen?
I believe it's 65, yes.
Yeah. And do you know what Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, or CMAP, uses as far as a guide for the average amount of water used per day by a person and then for a single-family home?
I do, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head.
76 gallons
76 gallons, yes.
per person.
Yes.
right? And for the average 3 to 4 bedroom home, like there are in Cedar Glen, they average 3.5 persons is what CMAP uses, right?
Yeah,
So that'd work out to a little over 17,000 gallons a day just for Cedar Glen.
sure. If that's the math, I
Yeah.
don't have it prepared,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay.
But, and then
your
there's
word.
other subdivisions in the immediate area that are in well, correct?
Yes, across the street.
And they also use water from that same aquifer, right?
Yes,
So that same level of usage would apply to them, right?
yes.
So I am.
Thank
That it? Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Please give your name to start.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ray Helper, and I am one of those concerned residents in the adjacent residential area there. So thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here to oppose this rezoning of the parcel to commercial use or C4 use more specifically. I live in that adjacent neighborhood and I have for over 34 years. I bought the parcel that I'm at today off of my parents. And I did that because it's a clean neighborhood, it's a very safe neighborhood, and it made it an ideal location to raise a family. I could speak to what that land looked like 30 years ago or so. It was actually a dirt bike track. We used to sneak back there and play around and whatnot. So I know that history. This property sits directly next to the established residential neighborhoods. Families choose to live here because of the quiet residential character of the area, not to live beside the industrial style trucking and excavation operation. According to the proposal, this development could bring an additional 120 vehicles, but I've heard 30 trucks, 40 trucks, not sure how many specifically, but what I will call out is there was also a mention of they could hold up to 16,000 gallons of water, I believe. 1,600 gallons of water?
Max.
Okay, that's helpful to hear that they could hold up to 1,600 gallons of water. So you could have 30 to 40 trucks taking that much daily, potentially, even though they're only running at 70%. So it'd be close to 1,100 gallons if you were really to use that number. But that's still a substantial amount of water that they could potentially draw from that aquifer that is already being used by the residential areas across the street as well as my neighborhood.
May I interrupt for 1 second? I have a question in general for everybody. How do we know there's only one aquifer there?
We don't.
Okay.
Okay. Additionally, I do want to call out, we mentioned that it's 5 days a week, but there are potentially some trucks running 6 days a week. So I have to err on the side of caution there and say the business could run up to 6 days a week, and those trucks could be coming in and out of that area. Those are not ordinary passenger vehicles. Those are large commercial hydrovac and industrial service trucks that create noise, vibration, diesel exhaust, traffic congestion, and safety concerns. The impact on the nearby residents would be substantial. As you saw in the images that were on the screen, there are some beautiful sidewalks that have been put in the recent last 5 years or so here, 5 to 10 years. Families walk, bike, and spend time outdoors in this community. That increased truck traffic raises concerns about pedestrian safety, road wear, air quality, and the overall peaceful environment that we expect and deserve being in the adjacent neighborhood. Beyond the traffic concerns, I already mentioned that we're deeply worried about the long-term effects this type of industrial activity could have on the water table, but also the surrounding land and property values. Once commercial industrial activity at this level as a C4 is introduced into a residential adjacent area, the character of the neighborhood changes permanently. We already have concerns with the garbage and pollution with the truck drop that is nearby. No offense, Mr. Ketlar. However, we can see that being compounded by allowing an additional change and additional potential other industries such as the indoor firing range in the future if they were to decide to leave the area and how it would impact our neighborhood. This is not simply about one business. It's about responsible zoning and protecting the people that already live there. Commercial and industrial operations do not belong in areas designed to support them, but not directly behind these homes and subdivisions. I respectfully ask the commission to deny the rezoning request and preserve the safety, character, and quality of life of our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Hello. Hello, my name is Joyce Hale, and I am a resident of Homer Township in the Cedar Glen subdivision adjacent to the property that Badger would like to have rezoned. I'm here tonight to strongly oppose it. Badger is seeking C4 zoning, as we know, which is the most intensive commercial classification available. These classifications are usually reserved for large-scale retail, heavy automotive traffic, and high-intensity commercial uses, not directly next to residential neighborhoods. Approving this request would introduce industrial noise, heavy truck traffic, excessive lighting, and disruption, to nearby homes. One of the major concerns that we've already talked about a number of times is the water usage. In recent meetings, Badger stated their operation would use as little as 20,000 gallons of well water per day, raising concerns about long-term impacts on local groundwater and residential wells. They've also stated that they would annex into American Water, which from one of our village trustees stated would still impact our aquifer because Illinois water isn't just like Michigan water, it's mixed with our well water. With over 30 trucks making 80 to 120 trips daily, noise is another concern. Although it's claimed that the trucks will be stored inside a roof, these are 36 30-ton vehicles, diesel industrial vehicles. Research and public accounts from people living near other facilities describe constant industrial noise, early morning activity, and conditions similar to living near heavy equipment yard or wastewater treatment facilities. That's a pretty severe impact to us. I know they claim they're going to put up a berm, but there's no berm that's going to be high enough to stop diesel fumes, to stop that truck noise. I know they said 6 feet. 6 feet is not even, I don't know what could be high enough to prevent that. Again, as stated before, traffic and safety are also concerns. Our roads are not designed for trucks of this size, and no clear truck route has been identified. One proposed route would take these routes directly past 2 elementary schools and a district school bus yard. And it could possibly be during their already congested dismissal process. There are also concerns about the future of this property. Badger stated they do not need the entire parcel and could potentially sell portions of the land of the Forest Preserve. However, if they rezone it to C4, there would be nothing preventing future industrial or high-intensity commercial developments on that site. And finally, while Badger has said they want to be a good neighbor, representatives and their legal counsel made at least one statement during recent meetings that were inaccurate and easily verified as false. This raises concerns about the reliability of other claims being made regarding the project. Many items discussed tonight are in direct opposition to what they've stated in prior meetings. Since Sunday, residents have secured nearly 300 petition signatures on a petition, both online and on paper, opposing the zoning change, demonstrating the growing concern within the community about the impact this development would have on our neighborhoods. In closing, I respectfully ask that this rezoning request be denied. This proposal does not fit in the long-term vision for the development of 159th Street and would bring heavy industrial activity directly next to established residential neighborhoods. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your testimony.
Just a couple of questions as far as cross-examination.
Are you willing to answer his questions?
I'll try.
I'm sorry I didn't get your name when you first spoke.
Joyce Hale.
Okay, Joyce. As far as the aquifer, are you aware of what aquifers are in this area or what their names are, what they hold?
No,
Okay.
I'm going by what a village official said.
And you said that Lake Michigan water is mixed in with well water to provide service to homes?
Correct.
Who does that?
Illinois Water.
Illinois American?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Again, it was something a village official stated in a meeting.
So you have no firsthand knowledge of that?
Nope, but this person did research.
And you said persons living near other facilities made comments about noise, operation, and that's other Badger facilities?
Correct.
Which facilities were those?
I didn't Google exactly which ones, but when I Googled what it's like to live near a Badger facility, that's what came up, or what do people say about living near a Badger facility? Those are results that I found.
Can you tell me what the names of those people are?
I can go and probably ask them. I'd be willing to even go up to your Wisconsin one to find out.
But you don't know today?
Nope, but
Okay.
they've put it out there on the internet.
You stated that both the attorney, which I assume you're referring
I know.
to, me, or because my associate, Mr. Pascarello, was also in the meeting, and you said I made a false statement. What statement is that?
Where does Logan live?
Logan lives, he lives right off of Galger Road, just south of Route 6.
So he does not live in Homer Township.
He does not live in Homer Township.
But it was stated at the township meeting that he was a Homer resident, and you would never bring something to his community that would be possibly detrimental to his community.
Okay, so you don't remember that that was Mr. North who
I
said,
said, what I said was representatives, Badger representatives, and legal counsel. So is Mr. North a Badger representative?
I'm asking the questions here. These are,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
I believe,
you're not stating that I said that particularly.
No, I'm not saying that you specifically said that, but it was stated in a publicly recorded meeting.
Okay.
And it's not true, is it? He's not a Homer resident.
And I'll have him address that during your.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Scott Maud. I'm a resident of the subdivision to the east. I'm also a local 150 operator. I operate these vac trucks for Mead Electric. I've been an operator for 35 years. I know all about them. I know how much water they carry. I do have some questions about a lot of the things. First of all, as a homeowner, I do not want them around us. It's just common sense. I mean, there's parcels all over Will County that are close to 355 that are available. There's, areas around the Bow Dome. There's, Lockport's talking about building a data center. They can come down Archer Road, turn on 2nd Street and at the old Citgo refinery, and there's tons of land down there. There is no housing, no nothing, and they can do whatever they want. My company does hire Badger for work. There's times they have to be on the job at 6 o'clock in the morning. So they're leaving their yard at 4 in the morning. They're also a company that's dispatched when there's emergencies for municipalities. So there's times they will be called out on Sundays to go help a municipality for a water main break or anything else like that. It's the common sense part of this. I mean, they're a great company. I am not going to take anything away from them. They're a good company. I know union people that work for them or have worked for them. It's nothing about that. It's just the location. The left-hand turns in there won't work. The turn goes into trees. It's just not right. I mean, I do have one question. How are you going to fuel your vehicles? Are you going to have tanks? Are you going to have diesel tanks there? Or are you going to have a tanker come and fill them up? Are you going to go down to Lenny's with a gas card? I'd like to know, because our main concern is the water,
If the commission will allow it, we'd be happy to answer that. So
Yeah, that'd be great.
the fuel trucks will come and deliver any fueling that's on site. They'll also be fueled off site. So no tanks and no storage fuel on the property.
Okay, so you'll have fuel trucks coming in. So you'll have more trucks. You'll have semis coming in with fuel to fuel up your trucks. And there's possibilities for spillage. And, I just don't want to get into all, I know all the talk of, when you have hazmat and stuff like that, you take it to Heartland, the guy goes in the back and washes it out. I know how everything's done, but it doesn't mean the trucks are coming back without contamination on them. I mean, it's just the wrong area for it. I would be happy to see them anywhere where it's an industrial park. I'm 5 houses away from this parcel. So I'm going to hear, every time a truck pulls in, I'm going to hear the air brakes locking in. I'm going to be sitting in my pool. I mean, you can't tell me there's going to be a second shift at times. I mean, it might be small. It might be a couple times a week. I mean, what are you going to do when there's a flat tire? You're not going to change a tire on the site? I mean, we're going to listen to the guys with the wrenches changing the tires. I mean, we got enough noise from 159th Street from the kids racing down the street from the stoplights. It's just the wrong place. And that's, I have nothing against Badger. I really don't. They're a great company. If I was 20 years younger, I wouldn't mind running a truck, but I'm past that point and you understand that. I mean, but it's the wrong place. It's as simple as that. That's all. I mean, thank you. Any questions or anything? I'll answer.
Thank you for your testimony.
May I give you the signatures that I have on these paper petitions? I forgot to grab that spot earlier.
Give it to our staff here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's Mr. Wendland's turn.
Are there any more people who want to testify, concerned citizens or objectors? There are not? Okay. Would you care to return, please, and
Yeah, condition of map amendment.
no, we never can.
Yeah, I know this too. Forget.
Before any statements that I would make, I would like to answer some of the issues that came up and also answer any further questions of the members of the commission. So first of all, I'd call Logan Malat again. Logan, there was a question with regard to berming and trees, and whether that would just be on the west side. Can you tell us what the plan is?
Yeah, we're open to putting berming down both sides of the property, working with the Moose Lodge, working with the gentleman who owns the storage facility, putting berms with trees on top down both sides,
And
as well as in front if needed.
And Alec, could you pull back up the latest site plan that shows when you're talking about that left turn lane into the property and see if we can zoom in on it? I think that may be helpful. While you're doing that, some other questions, Logan. How many toilets, I guess they'd be, I assume they're half baths on site, not showers and tubs.
Correct.
Okay, so how many toilets are we talking about total in there?
Most likely to accommodate the office staff, we would put 2 women's toilets in the office, 2 men's, and the same out in the shop area for the operators, 2 and 2, 2 men's, 2 women's.
So a total of 8.
Yeah, total of 8.
And as far as like, were there wash down stations for trucks or anything of that plan?
We wash all of our trucks off-site using Blue Beacon Truck Wash and different third-party truck wash facilities to do the actual washing of the vehicles. We don't wash trucks at any of our facilities around the U.S. today.
And as far as the entire 38 acres, did you initially, from the owner, try to buy just the frontage acres and not the rest?
Yeah, we had originally proposed to the property owner to buy the front half of the property. They were in talks at that time to try to sell the back to the Forest Preserve. But at that time, they wanted to sell the whole thing and told us we could work with the Forest Preserve, which we've provided. We've started that conversation to sell the back property that's not needed for our operation off to the Forest Preserve.
And so you have no other intention for use of that property, correct?
No, no intention. We'd be willing to sell the back of the property off to anyone.
No. As far as, but through your site, you don't provide any access to that rear property, correct?
No, we do not.
Okay. And if the county had offered you an opportunity to only zone the front 10 acres, are you about 10 acres you're going to use?
I think it's about
12 to 14.
12 to 14,
depending on, yeah.
If the county would have allowed you to just rezone that portion, that would be the application you're making. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the only party that you've been in any contact with regard to that rear of that portion that you don't need is the Forest Preserve District and your realtor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And so looking towards the bottom where the turn lane comes in into the property, right when it enters the property, there's not much room between there and your eastern property line, but then it curves back in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And as it curves back in towards your parking lot, the intention of that was long before it reaches any homes that you'd have plenty of room for a berm, screening and landscaping. Is that correct?
Yeah, we would start it as soon as it widens from the property line there, run the berm all the way down with trees on top of the berm.
Questions of Mr. Malat before I? Questions of Mr. Malat before I?
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I don't think that this is really applicable to zoning, but I've driven that 159th and I've made the U-turn. And it even has the signs, I believe, that say no trucks over a certain length. And I've seen it in other areas, but you're gonna have to get IDOT to shorten that island because there's no way those Badger trucks are gonna make that left-hand turn, I think, if they're in the left-hand lane.
And
I see what the 24-foot grain truck has to do to get into my driveway on a narrow road. He's had to back up twice. It's not that it just don't turn tight. And that's probably not applicable to zoning, but I do want to go back to what you said earlier. You said the county only won't allow you to only zone a certain portion of it?
Split zoning under, it would be split zoning under one ownership. So the parcels have to be separated and the back portion would not have frontages, so it would not be a legal parcel and separate parcel.
Okay.
That was at our initial pre-application meeting, we questioned that, so.
Yeah, because, I'll just have to let you know now, I'm gonna be a no vote. And it's not so much that I see the C4 as a problem, but on the whole parcel. And when you only need part of it, and maybe that's not right if somebody can convince me a different reason why, but it technically means that whole 38 acres in the future can be C4, which the Village of Homer Glen may appreciate if something happens in the back half that produces sales tax revenue. I've heard this argument all the time. Municipalities want the money and property taxes are nice. but
And they
really
also
want-
have a property tax
They
levy now too.
want sales tax. That's why gas stations are really coveted. Or shopping centers, especially high-end shopping centers where they can make more. But yeah, I just got a whole problem with the whole 38 acres.
And as far as the engineering goes, we're relying on our engineers at Jacob and Hefner and communications with IDOT. So I guess, I don't know what the greatest requirements are, but
From what I've heard from other developments and friends of mine that put in a grain operation, you are allowed to do it. IDOT will just make you have to pay for it all. And you have to submit plans and be approved, and it moves slower than the traffic on I-80.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, which, it sounds like if you guys do.
Have you been on Route 80 lately? Sometimes
You're
that's
gonna
lot
have a
slower.
race against IDOT and their new bridge over, if hopefully your contractors move faster, but. Yeah, so that's where I'm sitting now as a no vote, and I had a couple more questions from the other people. You were asking specifically to his testimony, so I'll let you continue.
No, I was done with my testimony as far as Mr. Malat, unless there were any further questions. I was just getting up for closing remarks by myself.
Oh, I guess the other one was mentioned. Is annexation really required for you to tap onto the municipal water supply, which I've heard Illinois Water, American Water, I guess it's Illinois American Water.
The mayor said that, and I, for the first time, it's the first time I've heard it. I mean, Illinois American Water existed and provided water to parcels long before the Village of Homer Glen exists. And there were many parcels when Homer Glen was incorporated. I know this because I was sitting here as chief counsel as it went through the county board that were connected to Illinois American Water and weren't part of the initial incorporation of Homer Glen. So that's the level of my knowledge. So I don't know about today. If there's some law passed, I don't know about it. So.
But you mentioned earlier, so Badger has been contacting the Water Association?
That's correct.
And to your knowledge, have they said anything about annexation being required?
Not at this time.
Okay.
My understanding of the law, and again, like you, Kaz, I don't know if there's anything been passed recently, but my understanding is you are able to tap onto the nearest water company that will supply you, or city or village that will supply you with water and with sewer. That by law, you're allowed to do that. Now, has that changed?
Some municipalities will not allow you to tap on to their system.
You have to pay to tap on. Yeah.
Or they simply won't allow you to tap on unless you annex, but that's up to them. But many municipalities, like Frankfurt, where you're familiar with, serve areas, territories extraterritorially, and they bought a water system, a private water system. IAW is a private water system. It's always served unincorporated areas. Now it serves many incorporated areas, no different than Aqua Illinois does and a lot of these private water companies. And there's nothing that I know of, nothing I've heard that requires annexation to a particular municipality for you to have connection to such a water facility. The point of Mr. Malat's additional testimony was with regard to wastewater, and there only eight toilets being planned and no wash bays being planned on the property. So
If we have no more questions, everybody's satisfied, then we're gonna go ahead and
One question for staff. What is the zoning on the parcel that's to the
put,
west?
put your mic down, would you? Lou?
The zoning case that we heard a couple years ago for the storage, what is the current zone?
The one to the west, the storage is I-1.
And just for a point of reference too, we initially came in at the plan and thinking that I-1 would be most compatible, which would allow our proposed use. It's next door. I mean, it would be very difficult to refuse. We picked a less intensive C4 zoning at the suggestion of staff at a pre-application meeting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody can shed any light on me because I've stated the C2 to C4 doesn't make much difference to me, but the acreage does. Or unless that's bad thinking on my part, I'd welcome anybody to argue me out of it. I also would love to see you on public water supply and sewer supply. To me, for the C4 zoning, what it could entail in the future. I would have to admit, what I see on the maps from Shannon, what I've read online, and what you proposed, this would be like the perfect business to have next to you if you had to have a business. Because Lord knows, we've had many complaints about people that have been in here for variances and want to do different things. And they don't look near as upstanding and well cared for properties, what you seem to be proposing and seem to show.
Thank you. I just would like to say it too, with regard to the parcel just to our west, that I-1 goes all the way to the north, all along that property line. And we could be here requesting I-1, and I can't tell anybody how to vote. But I've taken many cases through the court, and having an I-1 next door would make it a very difficult situation for the county. And that's initially what we came in because it was next door and because of my advice to my client asking for. And it was at the instance of staff that asked us to come forward with a C4 that would allow the same thing. Instead, the only other thing, and I think I may have pointed this out before, so forgive me if I did, is that construction sales and services, which is what this permitted use is a special use in A1. I've been before this commission many times with proposals for construction sales and services in A1.
This is, I presume, all electronic sales, and in other words, it's all done by fax, phone, and text, right?
Correct. Actually, online inputs, and Logan could speak to that.
Yeah, there's no foot traffic of customers in and out of the facility. It's all done via phone.
That's what you
and
said,
email.
only one person a day, maybe, you know? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, if there was, and we didn't have any, there's no access anywhere in this design for the property to the north. And if Laponis would have offered to sell these folks this property, they would have been happy to do that because right now they've got 20 some acres more than they need. And again, the only contact, and you've got a letter from the Forest Preserve, is with the Forest Preserve. And if they had different intentions, they would have designed or proposed a connection from 159th to get to the back because there's not another connection.
Yeah, you're already facing a problem with truck weight limitations on roads, secondary roads, and even on 159th Street. It's a state road, but it is a lower limit road.
It's not between this site and 355, which there were some comments made about that, and I'm glad that was brought up. The only intention is to go from here to 355. Badger doesn't want overweight citations. I can tell you that. You'd avoid them at all costs. Those citations can be in 5 figures. I know that because I represent several local contractors. These fines may be $10,000, $20,000. No. So.
Yeah. They found that out in Arsenal Road, didn't they?
They did.
Okay, wait, no more questions here. We're gonna go ahead and prepare for a vote then.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, our Realtor Bonnie Willis would like to say something about the contacts with the Forest Preserve as far as the northern end of the property.
Surely.
State your name.
Thank you. Bonnie Willis. Just so you know that for a couple of years, I've been talking to the Forest Preserve about this property. And when we took this site and said that they were interested in it, I spoke with Forest Preserve again. And they said, I asked them if they wanted to go ahead and move forward with their appraisals and do their process. And they said they prefer to wait till it's under the ownership that it needed to be. And Cass also said it kind of complicates it to do both at the same time. So they are truly interested in the property, and that's the email that you see there. I asked them if they would write that letter, and they have no use for it, and that would be the best use for it at the back of that property. So,
Badger has no use for it.
right, Badger has no use for the back of the property. I'm sorry. So the Forest Preserve is interested, and they're also interested in the 20 acres that is to the east of that property. So
what type of buffer are you talking between the commercial and the residential then? In distance?
The residential, that it begins just at the north end of the Moose Grove, and I don't know if we have that in front of us here, or if we can zoom in as far as the width between there and your proposed parking lot. Do you remember that, Kevin, or up where that cul-de-sac is and the houses?
I would hate to misstate, I'm guesstimating 100 feet or better.
Let's not guess. We've been accused of that a little bit before. Can we pull that up, Alec, and that site plan and see if we can zoom in on that area that's up near that cul-de-sac? Have to go a little bit to your right at least. Yeah, you see the home there. Yeah. And I don't know if we can zoom in on that distance. I can't see any numbers from here.
Might be better viewed on Zillow, huh?
It's not built yet, so that wouldn't help me.
It
Engineer,
looks like
the engineer's
70
here, actually. We can bring the engineer up, so I didn't know that, so.
Well, the engineer's coming. Can I ask
Yeah.
Bonnie Willis, do you have an acreage estimate for the Forest Preserve's possible acquisition?
I think it's just based on what they develop on the front of the parcel, and then the remainder would be Forest Preserve.
So 38 minus 14 at max, so 24.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan Blocker with Jacobin Hefner, Civil Engineers and Surveyors.
70 feet.
Yeah, it's labeled there in the drawing as 70 feet. The idea being to get the buffer as wide as we could after we get in the entrance.
Okay.
Well, one question for me, that pad that you have in the back next to the detention pond, what is that designed for? Is that just more
Can
turnaround
you
area?
scroll over, Alec, so further to the north there? Moving it, I guess, from right, further right.
The other north.
Keep going, there you go. That.
There's
right there.
retention in front and back according to the conceptual drawing.
Yeah, detention pond, that's just an open area there.
Oh, I mean, just right where the cursor's at right there, is that part of the parking lot there?
That's just an open area at this time. Again, it's just as the drawing is stated, we're gonna have to have access around the detention pond to do maintenance of the grass and other things. There wouldn't be trucks. The trucks would be in the building. And again, the parking lot is just designed per the county. We don't need that many parking spaces.
You could actually, as far as Logan, that box that you see just to the south of detention pond.
It could go away.
It can go away. It can be grass, it could be a berm.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they have so much parking that they don't really need, which means more retention.
And those are just formulas that are in the county ordinance as far
Well,
as.
and they do need to build the retention for that, because if Badger ever leaves and something else comes in there, that requires that parking.
Yeah, I mean, you see the detention pond, there's just over 4 acres.
4 acre feet of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an impervious surface that you're having for the parking. Yeah.
And the county dictates that we have to detain for all that impervious, whether that's asphalt or the building itself, or even if that were gravel or wrapped. And it's not. Yes, in closing, this is a parcel that I like to remember is I understand people have homes here and the homes may have been built 30, 40, 50 years ago. I, like you have been here a long time. I've been here all my 60 years. Actually, my backyard is Homer Township if I walk into it. These routes have changed. 159th has changed. It's 20,000 cars a day. IDOT saw it clear to make it 4 lanes, 2 each way, plus a turn islands in the middle of it, all the way across. It's US Route 7, and before there was a Route 80, and before there was Route 55, it was roads like this and roads like Route 30 that took that traffic. There's 20,000 cars a day. It's industrial zoning adjoining it on the west. It's commercial to the east. And while there's residences there, these things are changing. And I can tell you through zoning cases, I've been involved multiple times where subdivisions that were 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old have been turned over and slowly changed to commercial. And that's what happens, okay? That's the trend of development area. That's what the case law talks about. What is the trend to develop in the area? You heard Alec talk about it just a little bit earlier. I mean, and I really appreciate, even from the objector's standpoint, the discussion about what kind of operation Badger operates, okay? And these aren't 5 and dime jobs either that they're providing. They're lifetime careers they're providing. And I also didn't hear anybody say that we don't do anything, and that is Badger I'm talking about, in anything less than a first-class manner. And in the end, this is on a state highway with that many cars and that much traffic, and the roads that are built and designed for it. We have no intention on going roads that aren't built for those weights, as I mentioned earlier. And, people say go in an industrial park. And I guess go find a local industrial park that has 14-acre lots. And I guess we can talk about that attached to roads that will handle that kind of traffic on a consistent basis. And that being said, I mean, I understand there's changes. I understand they're difficult for people sometimes, but that is the trend of development in that area. 159th Street, US Route 7 is a commercial corridor. IDOT's decided that. The people have decided that. And, as the changes happen, the funny thing is, I hear this all the time, and I think I heard a little bit, and maybe I didn't tonight, so I don't want to speak for anybody, is that I hear the comments, well, I moved out here to be a rural area. And you know what? So did a lot of other people, mainly from Cook County. And after that happened, we've got a wide roads and commercial gets built up because there's more rooftops. Okay. And that's happened in Homer Glen. It's happened in the unincorporated area of northern Lennox Township, where my backyard is Homer Township. It's happened in New Lenox. It's happened in Frankfurt. It's happened in Mokina. And it's happened in all these other municipalities as they developed. That's the trend of development in the area. The trend of development along 159th is not to build new houses exiting onto 159th. We've had a few. They seem to be less and less because that trend and the value of that property tends more towards commercial. And when they tell you and they ask you where do you build a facility that's going to handle this, okay, in the least intrusive way? Badger doesn't intend to be intrusive, so the county says, don't apply for I-1 that's directly next door and wouldn't be much of a question. Apply for a commercial district instead that would allow this. Badger says, okay. And they bring, of course, forth a first-class facility, okay, with no intentions of doing anything other than that. And, we'd like to develop it in a cooperative manner. And as you heard from Logan Malat, you heard from Kevin North, whatever accommodations we can make to do that, Badger's willing to do them. okay? And it's not a fly-by-night operation, and they're not looking to get away with anything. But again, this is the development that's sandwiched between industrial zoning, commercial zoning, and admittedly, there's an older residential subdivision built in the county years ago, just to the northeast. There's no question about that, okay? But again, these areas change. This is the pattern of development, and this is what's been happening here. And as Alex said, a professional planner, it meets those criteria just for those reasons. Under the LaSalle and Sinclair cases, which is literally where the the map amendment criteria in the zoning ordinance comes from, word for word. And it meets those conditions. And nothing that was said tonight would in any way take away from that. So I understand the concerns. I'm telling you I do. Again, I've lived in basically unincorporated Will County since I was on Regan Road with my mom, where my mom still lives in the woods there off of Parker in 1969 that we moved in. So I understand those changes, okay? And, but again, please look at where this property's at. Please look at the roads that it's on. Please look at the surrounding uses. And please take a look and listen to your staff and take a look at the zoning criteria and understand that not one thing said tonight, and there was no testimony from any objector, neither the village nor township, nor anyone else, that in any way takes away from Alex's conclusion that this meets the map amendment criteria under your ordinance, which is codified from the Illinois Supreme Court ruling in the LaSalle case. We'd ask for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, our case number is ZC-26-020 and M-25-024. I would like a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, DC, DC-26-020, map for M-25-024 for a map amendment, approval for map amendment from C-2/R-2 to C4.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. I have a roll call, please.
Kimberly Mitchell. John Kiefner,
No.
Roger Bettenhausen.
No.
Matt Garland,
Yes.
Louis Navarette. Karen Warwick. And Chairman Hugh Stippen.
Yes.
4-3.
Thank you.
And this will carry on?
So this case will be heard at the June 4th Land Use and Development Committee in this room at 11 a.m. by the Land Use and Development Committee, and then the county board June 16th or June 18th, 9:30, this location.
Our next case tonight is a TUP-26-002. And Marguerite is going to present this case.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so this temporary use permit 26002 is to allow 2 shipping containers on residentially zoned properties. Typically, the zoning administrator is allowed to approve certain temporary use permits, and those that are not delineated in the zoning ordinance would have to come before this Planning and Zoning Commission for consideration. This is one instance where you would hear the temporary use request. So the section that deals with accessory uses states that cargo containers may be used in any zoning district for the purpose of storing construction materials and or equipment when associated with a valid building permit. The property owner associated with this application, which is Raymond Alcala Jr., submitted a permit back in August of 2025 to construct a single-family residence on PIN 110435324009. However, that permit has never been issued. So he currently has 2 shipping containers on that parcel and the adjacent parcel, which is 110435324008. And that applicant is coming before you to basically address the fact that he put the cart before the horse, so to speak, by putting those cargo containers on the site before a permit was issued. So the key with the single-family residence PIN, which is 009 ending, would be allowed once the building permit is issued to have the cargo container for construction materials. The PIN ending in 008 would need a temporary use permit to allow 180 days for that temporary use or for the cargo container. Should the end of the 180 days occur, that cargo container either needs to be removed from the parcel or relocated to the parcel that has the active building permit. So the parcels on the screen are identified, they're outlined in yellow. So we have 008 is that northern parcel, and 009, which is where the proposed residence will be, is that southern parcel. A zoomed in image. So we have the survey shown on the screen, and you can see 008 is lot 265. Lot 266 would be ending in 009, and that's where the proposed house will be. Right now, the cargo containers straddle the property line. And then just zooming in, you can see the proposed single-family residence with the cargo container, and then the second cargo container is just on the other parcel. So the property is zoned R4. It is in Lockport Township, and the property addresses, as you can see on the screen, are 2123 and 2125 Englewood Avenue. And then these are just some photos of the 2 cargo containers. Again, they basically straddle the property lines between the 2 lots. And staff is recommending approval of this temporary use permit to allow the 2 shipping containers on the residentially zoned properties, with one condition that it's valid from May 19th of this year through November 15th. So it's 180 days. And then again, as mentioned, provided the building permit is issued for PIN 009, that cargo container would be permitted as long as that building permit was open, essentially. Once it's closed, that cargo container would have to be removed, or a permit would have to be pursued to make it an accessory structure. The PIN on, or the cargo container on 008 would either need a new temporary use permit or be removed from the parcel or relocated. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do you know if these containers are on wheels, or do they have to be moved by a crane?
I believe they would have to be moved via a crane or some
They usually use a
standard,
tilt bed truck.
right?
Okay, but I'm
Or
thinking
drag.
if they're full of construction materials like 2x4s, et cetera, they're pretty heavy.
I think we'll get our answer.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the applicant's here too for any questions.
I have no other question. Anyone have any other questions? I agree. No, thank you. Please come down, sir. Are there any objectors or concerned citizens to this case here tonight? There are not. Okay.
Hi, my name is Raymond Alcala, and like they said, I kind of put the cart before the horse. When I spoke to Lockport Township, they said if I was getting a permit for a building, that I could have a container on the building, so on the property. And I had another property that I had to move everything out of with all my 2x4s and plywood. So once they told me that I could have a container, I went and got gravel and had a company bring out a container. Well, then when I spoke to Will County, we had a pre-approval meeting on my permit. They said, you have to get the permit first. And I said, I applied for it. He said, well, it hasn't been approved. And I said, well, I sold my building. I don't have anywhere to put the material. So they agreed to have this hearing and to issue me, I paid $200 for a temporary use permit for both of the trailers, provided that it'll be gone in 180 days, which I'm working with Geotech to do my site survey now. And I have a company that in July is gonna do my concrete work and the building, provided that the permit is approved. So I'll be done long before November. I should be done, I'm hoping by August 1st.
Yeah, don't curse yourself.
But I just wanted to rectify things with the county and make sure that we're on the same page, that in the future, I get my paperwork done before I do anything else. And I have a recent picture where, I removed the other stuff on the property. I just have the two trailers, sitting there. And I wanted to make sure that you approve the temporary use for the one trailer, and the other trailer will only remain until the construction of my home is done.
Well, hold the picture because if you submit it to us, it has to go into the records and we keep it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we just know that you have done your due diligence now.
Yes, and I've had real, everyone at Will County's been really helpful. We had a meeting last month and they all sat down and explained to me, what procedures I have to take. And I've never built a house before, so I didn't understand, that you have to apply a Joliet water for the water and you have to apply here and apply. So now I have a general contractor that's helping me coordinate everything. And
Make sure your general contractor, as a warning, make sure that he has your basement measured out in the right place before he starts pouring concrete. Because if you end up too close to your neighbor's property,
We'll see you again.
well, I own the lots on both sides, so I'm putting the building in the middle just in case I
Okay.
fudge by a foot or so.
okay.
All right. All right.
Mr. Chairman, given no objection from the public and a recommendation from staff, motion for approval of a temporary use permit to allow 2 shipping containers on residential zone property with the condition noted by staff for TUP 26-002.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I have a roll call.
Kimberly Mitchell, John Kiefner.
Yes.
Roger Bettenhausen, Matt Garland.
Yes.
Louis Navarette, Karen Warwick, and Chairman Hugh Stephan.
Yes.
If you can take that as apology accepted.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Any public comment? No public comment. Any announcements for staff? All right, then our next scheduled meeting will be June 2nd, right here in this room. So make a motion, ask for a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
All right, second, somebody? All right, motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Let's see, June 2nd.
All right, good night, folks. Thank you all for the help.
So if the